Good afternoon, everyone. Today we'll be starting with the refining and processing of the sugar. Let me tell you, sugarcane saccharum officinarum is a perennial grass and it belongs to family Poaceae. It belongs to grass family and it's primarily cultivated for its juice from which sugar is processed. So these are the plants of the sugarcane. Now let me tell you, about 70% of the sugar produced globally comes from the species of sugarcane called Saccharum officinarum and its hybrids, and the rest is made from the sugar beets. Sugarcane cultivation requires a tropical or subtropical climate. Tropical temperature is that where the summers are very hot and the winters are not so cold. It is one of the most efficient photosynthesizers in the plant kingdom, and it is a C4 plant. Fine, the sugarcane produces seeds also, but nowadays it's cultivated only through the stem cuttings. It's propagated through the stem cuttings. Each cutting must contain at least one bud. So you can say the sugar cane is propagated from the stem cuttings which contain at least one bud. And now next we have the harvesting of the sugar cane. When the crop is mature, what it is done, this crop is harvested. This is cut from the fields and later it is processed. So first of all, the harvesting is of two types. It can be manual and it can be mechanical. Manual harvesting is done by using the hand knives, cutting blades or hand axes. And the skilled labor is required in this harvesting, because otherwise it can lead to the loss of the cane and sugar yield. So the laborers which are employed in cutting the sugar cane should be skilled. Now next is mechanical harvesting. Mechanical harvesting is done by the machines. What the machines do, they remove the leafy tops of the cane and cutting the stalk into short pieces or blades. They remove the leafy top, and what do they chop the stalk into smaller pieces or short pieces which are called as blades. Then these blades are loaded into trucks wherever they have to be transported. They have to be transported to the mills for further processing. Now processing of sugarcane. In the processing of sugarcane will be having the first step, that is the cleaning and crushing. The stalks or the blades we get from the harvesting are thoroughly washed. After cleaning, a machine led by a series of rotating knives shreds the cane into pieces. This process is known as grinding. Now what is done? Hot water is sprayed onto the sugar cane to dissolve any remaining hard sugar. The smaller pieces of the cane are then sprayed on a conveyor belt. So the machine is like this. Here you see it has a conveyor belt. These blades or the short stalks, they are passed onto this conveyor belt and finally they are crushed into this machine. Now second step is juicing. Now the shredded pieces of the sugarcane travel on the conveyor belt through a series of heavy duty rollers which extract the juice from the pulp. The raw juice moves on through the mill to be clarified. Now the next step is the clarification of the juice. The juice we get from in this step is raw. Now it has to be clarified. So here you see the image. The shredded pieces are passed onto this conveyor belt, and what we get from this, we get the sugarcane juice, but the juice in this process we get is the raw juice. And now third step is clarifying. Carbon dioxide and milk of a lime are added to the liquid sugar mixture and it is heated to the boiling point. Why is carbon dioxide and milk of a lime added to it? Because the calcium carbonate is formed, and calcium carbonate does what? It attracts the non-sugar debris like the fats, gums and wax from the juice. As a result, the juice is clarified, it's clean and pulls them away from the sugar juice. The juice is then pushed through a series of filters to remove any remaining impurities. Fine, I hope this is clear. Now moving to the next step, that is evaporation. Now we have got the juice and that is clear. The clear juice which results from the clarifying process is put under a vacuum. Under the juice boils, where the juice boils at a low temperature and begins to evaporate. It is heated until it forms into thick brown syrup. Now what we get from this, we get a thick brown syrup. Now next is crystallization. What we have to get from this? We have to get the crystals, the sugar crystals. So the next step is crystallization. By evaporating, little water is left in the sugar syrup. Crystallization takes place. Inside a sterilized vacuum pan, pulverized sugar is fed into the pan as the liquid evaporates, causing the formation of the crystals. The remaining mixture is a thick mass of large crystals which is sent to centrifuge to spin and dry the crystals. The dried product is raw sugar, still inedible. As a result, what happens, the sugar, the crystals we obtain in this process, this is raw sugar. It's still inedible, we cannot consume it. Now next is refinery. Till now we have those steps which are done in the mills. Now next step is refinery or purification. The sugar is now sent to the refineries. Fine. Here further processing of the sugar is done. Raw sugar is transported to a cane sugar refinery for the removal of the molasses. Here this raw sugar which we get from the mills, from the sugarcane mills, is sent to the sugarcane refineries for the removal of the molasses. So let me tell you, molasses or black treacle is a viscous product resulting from refining sugarcane. It's a black viscous fluid. You can say it we get it from this raw sugar. It has to be removed from the sugarcane, and this process is done in the sugarcane refineries. So raw sugar is mixed with a solution of sugar and water to loosen the molasses. Now what happens, the sugar is mixed, this raw sugar is mixed with a solution of sugar and water to loosen the molasses so that they get removed from this. And next we have, here you can see a picture from the sugarcane refinery. Now next is separation and packaging. As a result, we get the purified sugar from this, and it's separated and packaged. Once the final evaporation and drying process is done, screens separate the different size sugar crystals. Large and small crystals are packaged and shipped labeled as white refined sugar. So here you see. Now let me tell you, refined sugar, white sugar is 99.9% sucrose, and white sugar is pure sucrose containing no preservatives or additives. So here in a whole you see cane sugar refining. It's divided into 6 steps, 3 of which include milling. Like sugarcane is harvested, then it's transported to the mills. Here it's crushed and juice is extracted from this. Partial purification to get raw sugar. This process is done in the mills. So this process is known as milling. Now the sugar cane, this raw sugar, is transported to the sugar refineries, and there the further 3 steps are done, like melting and filtering to remove the impurities, crystallization of sugar from to form syrup, drying of the sugar crystals, and these whole 3 steps, they include the refining. So it's done in the refineries, and finally we get the sugar. So now let me tell you byproducts of the sugar cane. What are the byproducts of the sugar cane? First of all, it's raw sugar which we get from the milling process. Raw sugar is formed if the final refining process is bypassed. If the refining process is not done, we get only raw sugar which we can get from the sugar mills. That is the raw sugar. It contains molasses also. And now the next byproduct is brown sugar. Is a sucrose sugar product with a distinctive brown color due to the presence of the molasses. Its brown color is due to the presence of this molasses. It's either an unrefined or partially refined soft sugar consisting of sugar crystals with some residual molasses content. So these are the byproducts of this. And next is sugar cane juice. Sugar cane juice is the liquid extract which we get from pressing the sugar cane. It's consumed as a beverage in the tropical areas. Fine. So it's green in color. Here's the sugar cane juice. And next is good or jaggery. Guda jaggery is, it's very rich in iron and folic acid. It, improves the hemoglobin content. This is the good or the jaggery. It's also a byproduct of this sugarcane. Next we have molasses. I already told you molasses are the black viscous, treacle which we get from the sugarcane in the milling process. The result of first boiling and removal of the crystals is first molasses, which has the highest sugar content, because comparatively little sugar has been extracted from the source. Now then we have the second molasses, is created from the second boiling and sugar extraction and has a slight bitter tinge to taste. Now next, molasses, I already told you, it's a black treacle, is a viscous product resulting from the refining sugarcane or sugar beets into sugar. These are also used to prepare yeast. So here you can see, this is the molasses. Next we have bagasse. Bagasse is the pulp that we get from the remaining leftover of this sugarcane. When the juice is extracted, what we get, the sugarcane fibers, the crushed sugarcane fibers, that pulp is called as bagasse. It can be used as a fuel. Here you see, this is the bagasse. It's also a byproduct of the sugarcane. Number next is ethanol. Sugarcane can also be used to make ethanol, a liquid that can be used as an automotive fuel or a gasoline additive. Sugarcane is an excellent feedstock because the biomass of the sugarcane plant is relatively rich in the sugar that can be readily turned into fuel. Fine. Now rum. Rum is also made from the sugar cane. Rum, what is rum? It's a distilled beverage made from the sugarcane byproducts such as molasses and sugarcane juice by a process of fermentation and distillation. If fermentation is done to the sugarcane juice, it leads to the formation of this rum. The distillate, a clear liquid, is then usually aged in oak and other barrels. Here you see, this is rum. So this is all about sugarcane. I hope it's clear to you. Thank you so much.